Baseball enthusiasts, get ready for a brand new experience to add to your collection. It's time for our main event today, and we have a very special treat for all of you as we welcome the one and only Marcus Stroman, ace pitcher for the Chicago Cubs of the MLB, Major League Baseball, to talk about the important topic of baseball and mental health. But first, before we get started, I want to encourage all of you to let us know where you're tuning in from in chat. Don't be shy. Send us those burning questions and comments because our friends at Simon & Schuster will be on hand to respond. And get ready to strike a pose, baseball fans, teachers, parents, and everyone watching, because you have the opportunity to snap a selfie with our special guest. So have those cameras ready. It's going to be a very memorable day. With that, let's take a seat and let the countdown begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and greetings, everyone. Hello from the bold north, the city of Minneapolis, home of the iconic Minnesota Twins. And we're broadcasting you live from the Microsoft office here in Minnesota, and we're getting ready for an exciting show. My name is George Maluker, and I'm your host for the event. And I have some pretty mind-boggling numbers here. Marcus has thrown an incredible 19,059 pitches. And that's not all, folks. This baseball phenom can throw a baseball faster than the world's fastest land animal, the cheetah. That's right. Marcus can throw harder than a cheetah can run, reaching 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. I need to see the sports science on that. So without further ado, let's give a warm round of applause and a grand slam welcome to Marcus Stroman. How's it going, Marcus?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just at home, getting ready for season, packing up, working out, getting the mind clear. That's about it.
Love it. Love it. Well, Marcus, we have a lot of fans watching, and we are all excited to hear more about your new book, The Grip. But before we get started, we would love to learn a little bit more about you. And to start off, how about we ask you, where's your favorite place to play, and why is it Minnesota?
Minnesota's a little too cold for me. But favorite place to play, I would say Wrigley Field. The atmosphere, the people, the vibe there is truly something different. Fenway would be a cool second place just because of the history. But yeah, Wrigley. I'm going to go with Wrigley. The Ivy, it's so historic. The people are amazing. You don't hear a boo. They're so appreciative of every player that comes in there. Wrigley.
I love it. The city loyal. I can't knock on that. That makes a ton of sense. Other things is, I know we all love to know, weather. I'm assuming you like to play then in the warmth, or do you mind like a little rain ball?
I like the warmth. Rain is never fun for a pitcher. It's hard to get a grip on the ball, the grip. Very, very tough to manage out there when rain's kind of trickling down on your hands mixed with sweat. So I prefer the warmth, the hot, the humidity. But I also don't mind playing in the cold. I grew up in New York, so I like to venture into the snow every once in a while and have that vibe around me.
Gotcha. Well, that's good to know because we want to actually kind of turn back the clock and learn about young Marcus. What would you say you were like when you were playing, sports as a 12 or 13-year-old?
Yeah, I'd say I was a very confident, hardworking, young kid who just wanted to be the best at everything that I did. My dad pushed me to be the best I could be, as well as my mother, and they gave me all the tools I needed around me and instilled the work ethic in me that I still carry until this day. So I feel like there's not much different as far as work ethic and confidence from myself now and my younger self. I just continue to evolve and find ways to better myself as I grow.
That makes total sense, especially that foundation, right? Did you play any other sports, besides baseball when growing up?
Yeah, to be honest with you, baseball was never even my favorite sport. I played baseball, basketball, and football all growing up. And even throughout high school, I continued that trend. I ended up deciding on baseball when I saw that it was going to give me the best opportunity in the future to get an education and also to play at the highest level. So I didn't start really focusing on just baseball until I got to my freshman year at Duke University. I'm the biggest believer in athletes and young kids in general playing all sports, trying everything out, playing multiple sports throughout the year. I think that helps with your athleticism. I think it helps with the whole foundation of teamwork and meeting new people and meeting new friends and learning how to mesh. I think sports has such great qualities and attributes that you learn from that you take within yourself to carry through life.
I totally agree. I feel there's so many skills we learn, just as a byproduct from playing sports. Like you mentioned, teamwork was so great because there's like this synergy that is part of a team, that you need to know how to communicate, and that can carry over to any professional career. And a part of that, I guess, we always talk about these core moments. Like, is there a core moment, agnostic from baseball, that you can remember when playing sports that's like one of your favorite moments while growing up?
I feel like I just remember it all as a whole. I played every sport, baseball, basketball, football, since I was a young kid, soccer before I started playing football. And I just remember my parents, I was just go, go, go. If I wasn't doing schoolwork, I was practicing baseball, or I was running the basketball practice, or I had football tryouts. So I just remember how intertwined sports was with my life and my entire family's lifestyle. You know what I mean? I had my sister, my mom in the stands, my grandma. It was like a whole family component to it. And yeah, I just remember being very, very busy and loving it all, and loving going from sport to sport, getting schoolwork in. It was a lifestyle. So I feel like I remember it all as a whole, not necessarily one particular moment hops out, but the experience was incredible, and it pushed me to where I'm at today.
I love it. Yeah, and let's unpack that, because I think there's a great opportunity to bring in your book, The Grip. For folks that haven't read the book, do you mind sharing a little bit about what the story's about for that, so they can kind of get them prepped as they read it?
Yeah, it's a rough book that's based loosely kind of on my upbringing as a child, divorced household, playing multiple sports, dealing with mental adversity, dealing with different friends and personalities and bullies, and navigating the pressures that it comes with performance in life, performance on the fields, managing relationships. It's so much that you go through as a young kid that kind of shapes your entire life. And I feel like, especially now with social media thrown into the phase, kids are experiencing so many negative things that are being thrown at them, and it's hard to kind of manage it all with your feelings and emotions. So I feel like this book is just a great way for not even young kids. This book can honestly be read from any age. I think it has so many lessons in it that 30s, 40s, even 50s you can learn from, as far as mentality, mindset, how to get through adversity. I think there's so many core things in this book that young kids can learn and kind of take away that'll help them navigate through their life, which I feel like is very important because of how much toxicity there is out there and being consistently thrown at you, especially as a young kid. It's hard to really manage it all. So this is just a little light in a world that's sometimes dark, to show you that you're going to be okay and you're going to be able to navigate no matter what you're going through, essentially, from whatever age.
I love that. I totally agree too. Like, the lessons you share are so timeless for any age. It's it spreads such a breadth. I read it and it's like amazing, and I'm like, way older than a typical 12 or 13-year-old. But there's something I learned from it. You kind of spoke on it, with social media and kind of toxicity. Is there a reason why, is that kind of a field, the reason why you decided to share the story now?
Yeah, well, I feel like even without social media, you're consistently battling feelings, emotions, relationships, friendships. It's all a lot to really live a happy life. So I feel like there's a lot of keys that people don't necessarily focus on when you just get into life. Life just kind of starts to snowball, and you kind of start to neglect certain things that you need to focus on in order to make sure you're living a happy lifestyle. So I'm a very big believer in mental health, because I've been through a lot in my life and have navigated a lot of adversity, and I've always been open to trying to do whatever it takes or incorporate anything new that might help my mind, my mindset, where I'm at, because I realized that if your mind's not good in a good place, it's hard to do anything in life. You can't chase your dreams. You can't have good relationships. You can't have good friendships. Everything just kind of slows down. And I realized when my mind's clear that everything functions very well. So it's just those ideas and teaching those kind of certain lessons to kids that I feel like I wish I would have learned at a younger age, because I truly feel like I would have been able to navigate certain situations easier if I had known certain of these points.
Totally, I get that. And like the ecosystem of life is all about the people you surround yourself with, as well as how you as a core are feeling. And a part of that is your family. Do you mind sharing a little bit about like their role in your career and your life?
Yeah, I mean, my mom and my dad are my two best friends, truly, and they're responsible. I give them all the credit. honestly, because I saw kind of everything that they went through, how hard they worked to be able to give back to me and put me in a position where I was always comfortable. I felt like I had a team around me. I felt safe. And I realized that's not always the situation. And I'm super thankful and grateful for that. My mom still to this day, she's my rock. She's my best friend. I talk to her more than I talk to anyone. I retired her. I just bought her a home in Florida on the beach. She kind of runs all of my businesses and side hustles now. She oversees a lot. My dad, like I said, is the most loyal person I've ever met in my life. And that man would do anything for me. So I'm extremely grateful for my parents. And like I said, I grew up in a divorced household, and I realized how hard it is to navigate those sometimes. And I realized I was fortunate enough. I didn't look at the divorce as a negative because of how my parents handled it. No matter what, even though they weren't necessarily the best ones fit for each other in the household, they identified that, and they still did everything in their power to give back to me and make the relationship work so that they can raise me in the proper way, which now that I have a child, I'm just so thankful and so grateful for them, because I see how much it takes and I see how much goes into it. And I know they were working a job, they're running me to class, they're getting up doing this with my sister, me, like the amount of energy that they spend. Like now I'm in a position where all I want to do is give back to them as much as I can, truly, because I know how fundamental they were in my upbringing. Like without them there, I wouldn't have turned out to be who I am today. So I love my mom and my dad more than anything. Like I said, they're my two best friends. I communicate with them more than I communicate with pretty much anyone besides Megan, who's on this call and who's my assistant and unbelievable assistant manager who manages everything in my life.
Shout out to Megan, and I appreciate you sharing that, Marcus. That's been great. So Marcus, in your book, you talk about visualization, visualizing something you want to happen. Is this a technique you're still using today?
Absolutely. I'm the biggest believer in manifesting, truly seeing, believing, voicing. I'm a big believer in voicing whatever it is you want to happen in life out loud, talking to yourself, like positive self-talk out loud. I feel like has so much benefit to it. I learned that from Trevor Moawad, rest in peace. He was like my first super sad, like untimely passing, like one of the GOATs in the mental space, mental adversity, mental health, performance coach. I met him through Russell Wilson. He's like been Russell Wilson's main like source of helping get Russell's mind good to go no matter what when he's going on the field. So he was the one who taught me that you always have to see things, believe in things before they actually come to life. And he really got me into the self-talk, saying things out loud that you want to happen in life, and really living with your dreams and your goals and really believing them to the point where you're kind of throwing it out in the universe. But when you're throwing out in the universe with the proper energy, everything just starts to kind of come together. And like I said, he's a legend in that space. And I'm someone who's always looking to work on my mental and my mind in whatever capacity it is. I always try to find clarity. I'm always trying to open up my mind and make it work at an elite level. So I'll try anything. And like I said, ever since I've worked with a therapist, a mental coach, a mental performance coach, I've been in a great space. And they all have similar concept and ideas, the best ones and the ones that you take away. And like you said, visualization, that's huge. Like seeing what you want to do in life, knowing that it's capable, knowing that you can accomplish it. I think that's where it starts, truly.
It's inspiring for you to hear you say that too with mental health and how core it is, how important it is, and really advocating for it. And then to touch on again, like this mantra, always believe you have a chance. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think it's important to have self-belief in this world. I think it truly is. You need to be the biggest believer in yourself. Just because there's so many people and things that work against you as you're going through life, you can't allow those things to deter you from chasing your dreams or for throwing you off your path. Because if they throw you off mentally, now that's going to stop you from getting to where you want to be. And this could be coming from an individual who maybe doesn't have anything going on in their life, or is maybe just going through something where they feel like they need to lash out. So when you learn how to kind of navigate those, I feel like it's important to always believe in yourself more than anybody else. It's unbelievable when you get other people who believe in you, but there should be nobody who believes in you more than you. And if you want to accomplish a dream, everything is capable. Like I said, it takes work and it takes believing in it. But anything you want to do in life is truly attainable if you have the right mindset. But it's going to be hard to start or go anywhere if you truly don't have self-belief in yourself. Because along the road, there's going to be so many roadblocks and things that are going to throw you off. And it's all going to come back to, hey, do I feel like I can get this done? And if at the end of the day you feel like you can't, it's going to be hard to navigate in life with everything coming at you at once as you start to navigate this path of success in your life.
I love that. It's about being your own super fan, like be your biggest supporter so you can accomplish what you want, your goals. Because if you aren't, how is anyone else going to be? So Absolutely. I love that independence with it. I feel like I've been asking all the questions, and we know we have a ton of students watching, and we have been gathering some of them for the past couple of weeks. And we want to take a look at a few of those and find out what they're most curious about. So our first question is coming from Canada, and we have a video, so let's roll it.
Hi, Marcus. I'm Sophia, and I'm Island from Canada. We would like to know, what is the best advice you've ever received?
I love that. I'm wondering that too, Sophia and Aaron. Marcus, tell us about the best advice you ever got, and who did you get it from?
That's a great question. I feel like I'm truly always learning life lessons from my mother. We're always having deep talks. And I feel like I come up with quotes all the time. I'm a creative. I'm always thinking. I'm always writing things down. I have a lot of tattoos on my body that are reminders to myself to keep my proper mindset in the right. So I feel like I have these quotes written on me. The one quote I'm going to say that I feel like hits home most to me is never panic, just manage, which is a quote that I feel I just came up with it, but it has the idea of kind of mixes the mindset and mentality of, I feel like all the people in my life who have shaped me is kind of like thrown into one quote. Whether it be my mom and the adversity she gets through, whether it be how my dad, same thing, has gotten through anything and no matter what manages to get through it all. So that quote, never panic, just manage, which I have written on my wrist, is something that always in times of adversity, I'm always looking down at, rereading, and just knowing that even when everything feels like it's in turmoil and everything's kind of out of place, there's always a way to get through it. And if you have a clear mind, you can manage it all, and you usually come out in a better place on the other end of it.
I love that. Never panic, just manage. I love it. Okay, our next question is coming from chat. In your book, you mentioned that you were seeing a mental coach. Was it your decision to see a mental coach, or was it a suggestion from someone else?
Yeah, that's a great question. At the end of the day, I feel like it ended up being my decision. I have a lot of people around me in my life whom I love and whom, not a lot, a few people whom I really honor their opinions and take those to heart. So yeah, there were definitely people in my life who have suggested. My mom, one of my best friends, Mike, who's one of my closest friends, who we've kind of been on this mental health journey together. He's an artist. We went to college together. So yeah, I was definitely having it thrown at me from certain people whom I really respect their opinions, but I also deep down at the end of the day felt like I wanted to get into that as well. And I had wanted to get into it earlier. I had been a little too prideful, I feel, in the past when I was younger, to really dive in mentally. I felt like sometimes males have this alpha male energy and we feel like we're supposed to be too strong, and we can't go see a therapist or a mental coach because now we're being weak. And I had that younger me had part of that mentality attached to me. And when I removed that and I became open to bettering myself, which I feel like it starts with the mind first and foremost, I feel like everything started to go my way. I felt like I started to navigate adversity so much easier. My mind became clear. Now I feel like there's nothing I can't get through or manage in my life. So I'm way calmer than I used to be. And this was all because I was open to seeking a therapist, to seeking a mental coach, to seeking a mental performance coach. I think that was the biggest unlock in my life. And I'm still always working. I'm now doing transcendental meditation, which I'm trying to be very committed to, which I am. I feel like it's a very good form of meditation for people who aren't very into meditation, or people who have trouble locking it in, sitting down and meditating for long periods of time. I feel like TM is great. I had someone come to my house for 4 or 5 days. It's very holy and spiritual. Taught me I have my own mantra that I chant while I'm by myself in a room. You can do it anywhere. And when I'm truly stay committed to the meditation, I feel like I'm in a way better place always. So that's something that grounds me, that I feel like I need to always go back to. And like I said, I'm always looking for avenues to clear my mind, because when your mind's clear, you perform better, you have better relationships, you have better friendships, everything kind of works in tune. And being open to having a mental coach or a therapist or someone where you have to be a little bit vulnerable, I think that's a huge unlock for a lot of people that want to make it to the next step, or at a place where they need that to kind of function how they want to function. I think everybody should have a therapist or a mental coach or a mental performance. I think it can only help. I don't see any hurt that can come from that. I think it's just going to help a lot of people and put them in a better place while they live.
It's a huge benefit, right? It's like, by allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you're allowing yourself to be stronger. It's kind of the takeaway I got from it. It's like, you're only you're building yourself up better. Don't think of it as breaking yourself down. It's like building yourself up and getting stronger. So I really love that, Marcus.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a stigma that comes along with it. But I feel like it's starting to be removed, because now people are starting to come out and be more vulnerable and speak about it, which is great, because the younger generation needs to understand that and see that. Because there's so many things that they're going through that I guarantee you they would keep in and hide. Whereas if you have an outlet, now you're getting these things out, which allow you to feel more comfortable, which allows you to kind of lead a better and happier lifestyle. So I feel like that's something that the younger generation need to understand and see from the role models in society, so that they're open to doing it from a young age, especially with the whole new social media. I even think younger kids should be open to speaking to having a mental coach, or just having an outlet. The same way we mix in time to work out or time for science class. I think there should be a mental time for just to go talk to someone about anything you may be going through on or off the field. I think it could be a great outlet for kids, and help and save a lot of kids.
Definitely. And actually, there's another question from the chat that I think really speaks to like the community, how we can support each other. So the question comes from a student in California who's asking, how can I help my friends believe more in themselves? First off, I love this question. Very thoughtful about caring your friends, how you can support them. Marcus, do you have any advice there? How the student can, really support his friends in believing themselves?
Be your friend's biggest fan. Be your friend's biggest supporter. Hype them up. I feel like a lot of relationships and friendships, even in this world, it's almost like you never know what hidden agenda someone may have. So I think the biggest, which is a great question, because I can tell that kid is already way ahead of wherever he's at. The fact that he wants to build his friends up and help them believe in himself, he's already has a mindset that's probably way ahead of where he's at, which I love. So yeah, be your friend's biggest fan, your supporter, be there for them, hype them up, tell them that they're creative, tell them that they're amazing, because like I said, they're already gonna get all the negative no matter what. That comes with life. So like I said, you need to be, if you want people to believe in yourself, because even for me, I know if someone believes in me, even if they believe in me more than I do, that gives me more confidence. Now I feel like I just elevated to a different level. If someone I have behind me whom I love or is a great friend or family is hyping me up, constantly egging me on, telling me I got it, that builds up those other individuals more than you know. So be your friend's biggest fan, your biggest supporter. Even in its rough times, be there for them to hype them up and be their biggest hype man. Because at the end of the day, we don't have enough hype man. Everybody wants. Everyone's chasing their own agenda usually, So it's cool to have someone behind you who believes in you as much as you do.
Yeah, to help you manifest it. And then because at that point it compounds and you have all the support and just like allows you to feel like you can do anything.
Exactly.
So that's super valuable advice. And I love that. We actually have another video question, this time coming from New York. Hello, New York. Here, you ready? Let's roll it.
Hi, Marcus. I am Steven from Eagle Academy Southeast Quiz. In your book, you speak about self-doubt. Do you still feel this? Do you have any tips for people who doubt themselves?
Great question. Marcus, before big moments, do you happen to doubt yourself? And what do you do to overcome this feeling? Any special tips or techniques that help you or to really help overcome this that you do every single day, maybe?
Self-doubt is present within everyone, I truly believe. And yes, the answer is I do still have self-doubt. I truly believe everybody has somewhat of self-doubt. Maybe it might be way less than others. Maybe some are higher. But at some point, people are just, that's how the world is. There's so much pressure. There's so many negative things approaching you. So no matter what, it's hard to not even have an ounce of doubt. My self-doubt as I get older is creeping lower and lower and lower and lower. I believe the ways to limit self-doubt are truly, first off, is being able to find a clear mind, your mental clarity. No matter what it is you're going through, you need to have an outlet, whether it be, maybe it's going for a walk down the street. Maybe it's going by water. For me, it's being by water. When I'm by water, I feel very calm and clear. Self-doubt kind of alleviates itself and becomes a lot less. So maybe it's playing games for some kids. Maybe it's talking to your sister, your brother. Everyone has different outlets that puts you in a better mental place. So I feel like no matter what, those are things that you always have to be conscious of and know, and always search for those things, because no matter what, those are going to help alleviate self-doubt. My second kind of proponent to that would be your work ethic and how much pride and time you take to put into your craft or whatever it is you're having the self-doubt about. I truly believe that if you put in the utmost work, time, and energy into something that you want to accomplish, your self-doubt decreases. When I'm out on the mound, I don't have much self-doubt because I know I checked every box. I know I did every workout. I know I foam rolled this morning. I know I woke up and got my dry needles. I know I went to get sauna. I know I went to do cryo. I know I get all my pitching in. I check every box and I do all the work so that when I'm out on the mound, I'm good with the result. Like, that's what people don't understand. At the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, there's nothing more that I could have possibly done to prepare for that moment. So I want to win more than anybody. I want to win. I do not want to lose. I hate losing, trust me. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I'm okay with losing just because I know I exhausted every opportunity to be my best self out there. And you chalk up losses and then you go back to the drawing board and continue to work. But like I said, I feel like when you match the mental clarity, the mental health, putting that a priority, and then you put the work in, your self-doubt's going to decrease no matter what. Because what are you going to doubt? You can't doubt the work you put in, and then your mind's not going to also veer to the negative things that's going to cause the doubt. So if you add those two together, I feel like you'll be pretty unstoppable, honestly.
Yeah, I like that too. Like, not having any regret from your preparation. Like, you did everything, and like you have that opportunity to just get better. Like, go back to the drawing board, see what you can add to it. But you can't can't live in that past. Just got to move forward.
Exactly, got to be present.
Cool. And then we have another student question coming from the chat asking, how do you handle the pressure of performing in high stakes games and situations? Good question.
That's a great question. So that's another thing. My career, I'm always open. A lot of athletes are very rigid in how they prepare. I've changed much throughout my career. I used to be very superstitious. Now I'm the complete opposite. Being superstitious became too rigid and like consuming to me, where it felt like if I didn't perform, I was blaming it on, I didn't put my sock on first on my left foot, or I didn't have the proper pregame meal, or I didn't do it became very constricting. And ever since I've limited that, I feel so free and easy and everything just kind of flows. But yeah, I get a ton of anxiety. To be honest with you, I'll be completely open with you guys. I don't, it's a struggle for me to eat. If I'm pitching at a 7 p.m. game, the night before, sometimes I don't eat at all. Sometimes I don't eat at all before I get on the mound the next day for 24 hours. So my body, I'm at the point now where I really listen to my body and my mind. And if I feel like I should eat, I eat. If I feel like I shouldn't, I don't. If I feel like I should listen to music this day, if I feel like I should go for a walk, sometimes I want to be around family and be open before a game and talk to them. Sometimes I want to be alone. So I'm a big believer in following your gut. I'm very intuitive. I feel like you have to be open to, you can't have one set way, like this is what I'm going to do no matter what to put me in a better place, because what if it doesn't? You have to be able to manage kind of everything that gets thrown at you. So yeah, I struggle to eat. I have very bad anxiety before I get out there. Music helps me a lot. Once I get to the field, I'm blasting music in the clubhouse. Like everyone knows it's usually my start day. Some love it, some hate it, I'm sure. But music is a big proponent. Music calms my nerves more than anything. I also started to get in a trend of where I would talk to my mental coach before games. So 2 hours before, I would talk to him around 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. I would talk to him and it wouldn't even be about baseball. It would just be to talk and just get anything out that you may have weighing on you. Because when you go out to perform, you want to just feel clear. You want to feel light, free, and easy. You don't want to be holding on to anything that you may have been dealing with away from the field. It's in that particular moment. You need to find a way to be present and to be clear, because that's the only way you're going to be your best self out there. So I used to talk to my mental coach, which I still do sometimes. Like I said, I'm open. Sometimes I call him. If I'm good, I'm good now. But that's a huge thing that I would advise to young people, athletes, is having an outlet when you are before performance, even if it's your parents, if it's a friend, just to go and get thoughts out. It's just going to help clear your mind. Barefoot walks is something I would do before starts, which I still do. I'm just fluid. So it's not necessarily I'm doing one thing all the time. If I feel like I'm on this start, I need to go for a barefoot walk, I do. If I need to listen to music, I'll put my headphones on, bare feet, just go walk around on the grass. Grounding is huge. I know a lot of people don't believe in it or think it's crazy, but you find like a nice piece of grass outside with the sun and breeze and wind and all that. Throw your headphones in. Don't even throw your headphones in. Hear all the sounds of nature, actually. Just go for a walk. Like, no one thinks about doing that. It's very calming. And like I said, the second you get done or come back, 15, 20, 30-minute walk, you're going to be in a better place. So I feel like there's a lot of things that can help with the anxiety and the stress. It's always going to be there. It's a matter of managing it and lessening it so you can be in a better place when you perform. So I think there's a couple of things that I mentioned, and you can kind of take those and go off, because everyone's an individual, and kind of use those ideas and then take them into you and be like, all right, maybe I need to do this. Maybe this will help me. And like I said, at the end of the day, I truly believe everybody's a one of one. So what works for me might not necessarily work for the next person, but you could possibly take something from somebody else's routine or how they go about life or a thought process, incorporate it into your own, and it can hit home. And now that can be something that you kind of use in your life. So I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, that's a sensational list, Marcus, of all the different things that we can take away. Just selfishly, as a bonus question, like for someone like, for the example of like walking on the grass here in Minnesota, sometimes it's kind of frigid, it's too cold. I kind of lean on, breathing, because I feel like you can do kind of breathing exercises anywhere. But I'm curious if you have any tips just on that, like, if you have any kind of breathing techniques or advice, because that's something I feel like anyone could do anywhere at any time, whether it be big events or right to something quick.
Breathing is the most important thing in life. And to be honest with you, nobody takes it serious, believes in it, or focuses on it enough. I have a breathing coach who I literally was just on the phone with him earlier before this. And we're linking when I go out to Malibu. We try to link a few times a year. And we go through a whole series of different breathing exercises, cold breathing, breathing in high altitude. We simulate underwater breathing. And then also just normal breathing, proper breathing, how to properly breathe. When you learn how to properly breathe, stress gets mitigated, like everything just becomes less. So anything I'm ever going through, my first thing I now go to is my breath. Even if you see me on the mound, I feel like I'm truly one of the best breathers in sports. Like, you'll rarely see me panicked or exhausted. You'll rarely see my mouth open. I'm a true nasal breather. Nasal breathing is the biggest thing. People need to learn how to calmly breathe while expanding their rib cage through their nose and out, in and out your nose. So essentially, you want to be taking less mouth breaths a day. So whenever I catch myself with my mouth open, I close it. If you're not talking, you want to be breathing slowly, expanding your rib cage through your nose and breathing out through your nose as well. And there's a whole science. I mean, your breath is the first thing you come into the world with and the last thing that you leave this world with. And it's the only thing we really don't focus on. And ever since I've been breathing, my career's been better. My body's recovers better. I don't snore anymore. My anxiety's less. My stress is less. Breathing goes hand in hand with meditation. So I'm the biggest believer in breathing. And now there's starting to be more people. There's a lot of yoga teachers that teach breathing. There's a lot of people in health and wellness space who teach breathing. And I feel like these are the people you need to reach out to. Harvey Martin is my guy. He actually just wrote a book. He's helped me more than he knows. I had him meet with my mom and my sister. We had an unbelievable session. Like, it was almost so emotional. My mom and my family were crying at one point, because it's just like unlocks this new wave in you, and this new ability to like breathe properly. Is just like, it's clearing is what it is. So when it comes to breathing is the one thing I truly focus on and try to be conscious of all day. If you think about it, if you're taking less breaths throughout the day, you're essentially going to live longer. People take too many breaths throughout the day, usually panicked breaths, shoulder breaths, and essentially you're cutting your life off at the end of your life. So I'm trying to take less breaths per minute throughout the day. I'm trying to lower my heart rate. When your heart rate is lower, when you're taking less breaths per minute, like I said, your stress is less, your anxiety's down, your mind is clear, everything works way better. And people don't understand that. Like, this is just from breathing, something that we do. If you can master that, a lot of your problems when it comes to anxiety and sleep and all of it will kind of melt away. And it's really hard for people to process, but I'm someone who's lived it. So I'm always trying to preach to people, but I'm only one person.
Well, Marcus, you've inspired me to be a huge believer in breathing, just from everything you said, from just like way of life to improve your performance. It's definitely something I'm going to take away. I'm sure that many others will as well. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And we got one more final video question from New Jersey. So let's roll that clip.
Hi Marcus, my name is Ben and I am from Old Bridge, New Jersey. I love baseball. Can you share your top tips on throwing the perfect pitch? Thanks, have a good day, bye.
Oh, I love this question. This is a burning question from the beginning of the show. As a baseball fan, I want to hear your tips to the perfect pitch. How do you do it? How do you throw as fast as a cheetah?
Man, there's so much that goes into that. The perfect pitch. I think it starts a lot with mind clarity. Body has a lot to do with it. I'm a big believer in training. I try to get in the gym every day. I move my body. Even for non-athletes, for people, kids, athletes, I believe that everybody should move their bodies. I'm a big believer in the mornings, waking up, having a glass of water, having a little morning routine, and then starting with movement. I feel like it puts your body in a way better place. When it comes to throwing a perfect pitch, that's hard. That's a hard question for me to answer. I'm such an artist, and I'm always tinkering and finding new grips and learning new things. So I'm a sinker guy. I'm a movement pitcher. I throw sinkers, sliders, cutters, changeups. So me personally, I'm trying to miss bats with movement. All of my stuff is moving all over the place. So I would say for me, it comes down to the grip. A grip is something you got to be very comfortable with. So the book has like a lot of these side like little meanings. You have to be super comfortable with the ball in your hand, your grip. I always tell people, if you're not comfortable with the grip of the ball, no matter what pitch it is, it's never going to be efficient. It's never going to be its best. It needs to be comfortable. The ball in your hand needs to feel like home. So grip definitely starts with the grip. You need to feel it coming off your fingertips. It needs to feel like everything is fluid and in motion. And then after that, I feel like it's all the preparation that goes into it. Once you have the grip, your mind's clear, your body's good, it's always going to be a perfect pitch in my eyes. That's how I look. I throw 100 pitches a game, 110 pitches a game. If my mind's clear, if I'm breathing properly, if I have the right grip, if my spine's in line, my core's down, if my glutes are engaged, every pitch is perfect to me.
I love that. It's all about the grip. And also the spine is fine. I like that. Or in line, spine is in line.
Yeah. Yep.
That's got a nice rhyme to it. Nice. Well, again, that was awesome. Thanks again for answering all these questions, Marcus, and really thoughtful questions from everyone out watching there. Love the advice. And I know we're wrapping up our show, but I want to give everyone a chance to take a selfie with you, Marcus. So everyone out there in the classrooms, on beanbags, get your cameras ready, gather in front of the classroom, whether you're at home or wherever. Again, we'll give you a few seconds to get warmed up, and we're going to cue some music while Marcus and I get ready. All right, I think we're ready. Let's take some selfies. Marcus, will you do a countdown for us?
3, 1.
I love it. Thanks again, Marcus, for being here and taking that selfie with us. I'm having a blast. I hope everyone else out there is having a good time as well. And we'd love to see those selfies with Marcus. So please post them on social by tagging the different handles below. And again, we'll be able to see those and amplify those. And again, Marcus, thank you again.
No, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Look forward to doing this again.
Yeah. And then last thing, is there any final thoughts you want to share with the audience, with everyone watching?
Man, I got a lot out. I don't know. I think I covered a lot. I'm very long-winded, so I feel like I talk about like a lot of things. No, just very thankful for the audience. Like, thank you guys for reading my book. I hope you guys love it. Give me honest feedback. I'm working on another volume. I have another volume after that. I feel like I'm going to do everything in my part to be the best role model for the youth always in my career. I'll always continue to give back. I hope I can come out and be around all y'all's energy at some point in person. And thank you for reading the book. I love the questions, and I'm here for you guys, and hopefully see you guys all soon at a game or somewhere. I'm hoping we cross paths.
Marcus, thank you again for spending time with us. And again, for reminding us what's important to take care of ourselves, our mental health, and sharing your personal experiences. Really appreciate it. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. Now, we want to give you a chance for this to be a hands-on experience for all of you watching. The Simon & Schuster team have created some flip topics in Discovery Library for your class to reflect on. Thanks so much for joining this global event. And teachers, if you love learning experiences, you and your class can connect with authors, scientists, and other experts. Head on over to aka.ms/flip events to find an adventure that sparks your curiosity. You'll find live classes or videos offered from all kinds of experts and guest speakers on Take Lessons. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you again to Marcus for sharing all his precious advice on how to find our inner balance and take care of ourselves in our mind and our body. On behalf of Flip, Simon & Schuster team, and our special guest, Marcus Stroman, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.